Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. With all the changes that are going on with SwiftPage, we've been working very hard to see how we can come up with some solutions and how we can survive and grow and be strong through this section of the business. We are very excited about some of the things we want to show you today. I do want to let you know that we will be recording the webinar, so if any of you have questions or want copies of it, please email me. This is Vic, vic@kqc.ca. And also with that, I'd like to have Ken go take us through the presentation. And what we'll do is after each section, if you put your questions in, I won't interrupt Ken during the section, but we have 5 sections. After each section, I will be communicating the questions. So please put them in there. Feel free to put in whatever you need. So thank you very much for attending, and here you go, Ken.
Thanks, Vic. Okay, so let's, I mean, a bit on what Vic was saying. We have spent a lot of the summer in developing our infrastructures and some of our services so that we can go into the fall as strong as possible. And as valued members of our reseller team, we wanted to share with you some of the little updates and some of the bigger updates, as well as some of our roadmap items and plans, okay? So the first part, I'm not gonna kill you by PowerPoint here, but I am gonna just kind of toggle through the slides here, and I'm gonna go back and forth between this and the browser so that you guys can see some of what I'm talking about. So the first thing, we're gonna be talking about product updates, then roadmap, licensing, marketing updates, support, and then we'll have questions, okay? So the first thing we're gonna start with is products, okay? So we have a number of products. We're going to start with those slated for a September release. The first one is DataBoss. Now I've intimated a little bit on the community about what DataBoss is. Basically, it's going to be replacing our exporter for ACT product, but it will be doing so much more. So it will be doing exporting, importing, and even migrating. So just to kind of give you a little bit of information on this, here is the product. You can see the pricing, and here is the description. So do not worry about the links on any of these. I'm going to be providing you not only a link to the video afterwards, but also a link to all the hyperlinks referenced in this video. So don't worry about trying to keep track of what's up top. Okay, but here's a brief description of all the different features of it, and of course our jewel case. Okay. Secondly, let's pivot back here. Okay, try again. There we are. Okay, the next one is Company Concealer. This product pretty much does what you would expect it to do. What we found is that a lot of people, they were fine with the limited access features built within ACT, where you can slate specific companies as limited access, so other users couldn't tell the content, like the people that were part of that company. But we also had a lot of customers that wanted to take that security a little bit further and actually conceal who was in those companies, not just who's in the companies, but the companies themselves. So actually surfacing the name of the companies in list view created a security issue, okay? So what we did is we created a product that allowed you to actually conceal, and you can just see here, here's the list without, and here's the list after. So you can actually conceal the company name. So if the name itself became a security issue, that would be something that this product would help with. Okay, and that is currently available. Now we've been selling the ACT for verticals for quite some time. We're soon to be releasing the ACT for insurance, okay, as well as updates to ACT for wealth, ACT for mortgages, and ACT for support. Primarily, these were due to SDK changes that were made in V22, quite a few good, some bad, that did break some of the features, so we've updated those. The next two, okay, are DDuper and Automator. Our DDuper has been around. This came over as a Designer One product, but a lot of the Designer One products, if not all of the Designer One products, were written in Visual Basic, and we've slowly started the updating of all of them over to C#. So DDuper was the first one. We also noticed that, you know, some of the features with the new SDK and the new versions were beginning to break, so we had to update that. And Automator we expect to be out next week. We ran into a few issues that required us to actually go backwards to find a working version. This we expect to be released next week. That will not only provide a reliable product for new users, but existing users that already have layouts, it will be able to support them as well. Okay. The next one probably has gotten the most attention over the last few months, and that's Handheld Contact API. And I do apologize, we've got a lot to cover, so I am kind of speeding through this. But I want to say that Handheld Contact API for Android, we announced at the beginning of the summer that we expected to release this in July. Well, obviously a lot has happened since then. So, and I should say we announced this in the spring. So obviously after the pandemic started and so many people went into isolation, the priority of a faster release for a mobile client when no one was mobile clearly became less so. So what we did is we used the extra time to really focus on the quality of the product. Now, what I'm going to do is as part of this demo, I'm just going to quickly go through. Okay, let's go through here. A quick video of the setup of this. So here is Handheld Contact API, green, much like the iOS version. Here's the initial setup. You'll have to give permissions for a few things. But as you can see, here's the cloud elements, which as most people on the call will know is the local API. And then here's the login. So you're logging into your API, then you're logging in to your Handheld Contact account. Now, the first time, it's going to take a little bit longer on your setup account, but then you're going to be selecting the group that you're going to be syncing with. Okay, and then as you go through here, you're selecting which field mappings you want, and then you're selecting opportunities. I'm not even talking fast enough here, and then it's going to download all the data. Okay, this is going to happen pretty quickly because it's the demo database. But the nice thing is that previously in bygone versions of Classic, a download all was quite a time-consuming prospect. But in this case, this can often be, even for databases that are in the thousands, like tens of thousands, it could be mere minutes. I know previously when when we enabled it to be triggered off the device, it was still something that you would finish the next day. So here's the list. You can see it in detail view. You can see, the different activities underneath them, okay, and very, very fast. And the nice thing is that when you clear an activity on this, it automatically clears it on the database. So that's the kind of speed and connection that we're dealing with, okay? Now you notice there was a bit of a permission thing first time with Android, so that it provided access to the native phone device. And then same thing as before, you can call out and it will generate all the histories that you expect. Okay, and obviously as it writes to the database, it's going to be writing to the hosted database as well. Okay, or in this case to a local database that's got the Cloud Elements API. Okay, calendar is just what you expect. The weekly, the monthly, the task lists. Okay, you can see all the tasks with the icons that we introduced with the iOS version. And here is all list of the opportunities, easily drillable. You can go into any one. And then here's the dashboard, which you can see contacts and task lists and the little side menu that you can get access to. Okay, so, and here's just some settings features, but, kind of a very, very simple overview of what you can expect. And we are, we're taking the extra time to make sure that every single beta feedback is addressed. I know this seems unusual after the recent experience with V22, but we're very aware that the world is not screaming for a new mobile client under the circumstances. So, we're making sure that we take the time necessary to release a really good product. So look forward to that. We expect next week. Obviously it's a moving target. If we get any feedback that changes that, we'll certainly let you know. But I would say, unless you hear otherwise, expect news of that to be coming out next week. Okay. Okay. The next one is BookToAct. Now, BookToAct has been around. Hold on, got some audio going on here. Okay. So BookToAct has been around since about mid last year. Had a lot of hiccups I wish we had better control of it. We'll get to that later. But a lot of hiccups based on the changing API. So we would release a product and then Swift page, the mentions that they are, would change something in the API that would break BookToAct's access to it. So it was a really kind of a staggered launch as we kept trying to, play leapfrog with them. And they would break something, we would have to overcome it, they'd break something again. And this went on for a little while. So it kind of stunted some of the early adoption that we were hoping for. But it's been stable, honestly, for a good chunk of this year. They've behaved themselves for the most part. So on account of that, that's, kind of emboldened us to increase some of the capabilities of the program. So one of the things that we'll be touching on later on in the show is that the thing that we wanted is a team edition. So instead of just having individuals, okay, is that you can actually have a team of people, like a team of support people, a team of salespeople, a team of admin people. So in this case, if you had it on your website, you can publish a single link for every single one of the support people and find out, if you're not concerned about who you're going to work with, but who's the next available one, then you can actually immediately see and select who is the first available at a mutually convenient time, okay? And when you're setting up a trial, okay, then by default you're going to see here it's individual, but you've also got the option for teams. So little question mark, what account type is right for you? You can kind of go through this and determine what is right, okay? But that's a pretty big feature for us, and we're going to be actually deploying that internally by the end of the month. So when we surface something on our website, in terms of would you like to book an appointment for support, people will be able to click on that and say what's right for me, and they're not going to know Greg from Nav or Michael from Billy or anyone else. They're going to know, okay, who do I need to speak to as soon as possible? Because most of our guys are going to have a baseline of knowledge that should be able to help out in most instances. If it's a higher level service, requiring tier 3, then obviously they'll have to be a little bit more selective. But we are enabling the feature where things like language, okay, because we have 2 French support people, that you'll be able to select to see, when's the first person available that speaks French. Okay, so more on that. We don't have time to go through a full-blown demo, but I wanted to at least show the page where you can set up a trial and select the appropriate version. Okay, now the next one is probably the one that most people are interested in, and that is Act for Outlook 5. Now, Act for Outlook 5 actually was released at the end of August. Now, obviously, it's only the 9th, so that's not too long ago, but we've had a lot of questions on it. Now, this Act for Outlook 5 was something that I've got to tell you, I was on vacation up at Sauble Beach, and Awesome, our CTO, emailed me, told me that he had just cracked the 64-bit obstacle with the SDK, and that he was able to produce a single version of Act for Outlook that would support both 64-bit and 32-bit installers, okay, or offices, I should say, and this was the different part, go all the way back to support all the way back to V18, okay, which, as most of us will know, is the only reinstallable versions now, thanks to Sirocco, okay? So this was a big deal because now we weren't limiting 64-bit integration to V22 users. It goes all the way back to V18. We weren't asking people to select an installer based on their Office version. As most of you guys will know, most people don't even know which version they've got because the default is 64-bit when it installs, but it doesn't surface that in any way during the install. So they often don't know. So this will allow you to have one easy install. Okay, all the same features. We added one little feature where you can actually select, a default is not recording history. Okay, and that was requested. But other than that, and then we added previously the ability to actually set, and this was not very well documented or published. But what we did is we, based on a customer request, we added the ability for you to blacklist history recording on a customer by contact basis. So imagine that if you had a contact in your database, very, very private, let's say you're negotiating a deal with them and you did not want all the emails that you're sending, inadvertent or otherwise, to be attached to history, then you can select on a field in your database to say don't attach any history. So that will protect you a little bit from prying eyes of other team members, okay? Certainly if it's a sensitive issue. Now, with that said, we've gotten lots of questions from customers, lots of questions from resellers that were really excited about the release of this, but they wanted to know the commercial details. So do past customers get it automatically? Okay, well, past customers don't get it automatically, but I think it is fair to explain what the conditions are. So version 5 is a paid upgrade, okay? And what we have done in previous versions is that if you had version 2, that we would upgrade you to version 3 free of charge, okay? And we actually had, we have utilities, I'm gonna show you later on those, utilities that actually allowed you to paste in your license key, and then it would automatically update you to version 3, okay? Version 4, as I said, was a bit of a narrow scoped use case where it was 64-bit only for V22 users, but otherwise it was kind of like V3, okay, for any other legacy user. So we provided free upgrades up to V3. However, okay, obviously we have to be lenient under these pandemic circumstances. We tried to be in every which way possible. So since we didn't announce that there was an upgrade coming or there was any kind of end of life scheduled, because none of us really knew, if someone, and certainly any of your customers, have purchased V3 or V4 in 2020, so anytime in this year, we're generally going to do them a solid and provide them a free fulfillment of V5, okay? But otherwise, please refer to the point number 1, that V5 is a paid upgrade. We're not looking to, create any kind of buyer's regret. So anyone that's purchased at any of the previous Act for Outlook versions this year, we're definitely going to bring them up to date. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one. So, what about our roadmap? So the roadmap is actually pretty exciting. Okay. I did mention that we had a real struggle kind of launching and continuing the momentum of BookToAct because of the constant changes with the web API. And that really hasn't been any different for Handheld Contact. I mean, Handheld Contact has to kind of work around a lot of the limits of the API as well. So it stands to reason that we started kind of looking down the road and say, is this something that we want to have kind of a painful or injurious reliance on indefinitely? And the answer, of course, is no. So what we are doing is we're developing our own API, which we already have incorporated into a major project, which I'll get to next, and will likely be in Handheld Contact before the end of the year or at the latest early next. I've already talked to the developers. Obviously they're aware of what we're developing, and they said that the changes to migrate over to our own proprietary API is not going to be that involved or time consuming. So we're hoping that we should be able to get this done within a couple of months of the API's completion. Okay, this API will give us much greater quality control of what gets synced, how it gets synced, data access, all of that good stuff. But here's the really key thing. We're not limited to subscribers anymore, because the web API is currently a subscriber benefit. It's part of what they get with it. But this will be available to off-plan users as well. So any premium users that have perped out and they're using, say, previous versions back to likely V18 again. Don't quote me on that. We may have to change that later based on unforeseen circumstances, but we are expecting that most of the off-plan users will be able to access this, okay? And what's really cool, it will also be accessible for pro users. So pro users who obviously make up a big percentage of our Handheld Contact subscriber base, that is going to be something that they'll be able to access, okay? Now, you're probably wondering what's the Keystroke VIP mobile app? What is that? Well, we have been working on something that is deliverable for our subscribers, something that we want to have like an enhanced level of service, an enhanced level of account access for them. So what we're doing is we are using the API so that they can access a lot of their account information and a lot of our services. And I'm going to go through a very, very quick run through of what that looks like. But we tried, actually I spent thousands of dollars at the beginning of the year trying to use the web API, and it just flat out was a dead end and a huge waste of time and money. So I'm far more confident about this, and we've already got it underway. So let me just kind of show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is what the VIP access will look like. So right now this is just in demo mode, so we don't have to enter anything, but you click on this and it will immediately present people with their, all the high level pieces of their account information. So they'll be able to click on live chat and immediately access our chat service, okay? They'll be able to pay their bills online. They'll be able to contact us, access the knowledge base. And let's take a look at the subscription information. So they click on this and they'll immediately have access to the, let me just bring this on over here, immediately have access to all of their account information, okay? Including, what their bill is, blah, 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 the renewal dates, so on and so forth, as well as their serial number information. So all of that is going to be super helpful, and they'll be able to click on renew, process their renewals. They'll also be able to go into their support contracts, a little bit more on that later, and be able to access the information, the consumption information, how much they've used it, as well as being able to check the renewal dates and renew online and on time to save money. More on that later. Okay, but click on here, they'll be able to see all the products that they've purchased from us. Okay, and all of this is not something that we're populating separately. This is all reading the our master database custom tables in real time. Okay, so this is something we're really, really excited about, and we could not do without developing our own API. And we've been testing this. We expect it's going to be released in beta on September 21st, third week. Okay, and then we expect to beta it for 1 or 2 weeks before we announce it to the customers. But we're really, really excited about this, providing that level of account information, account management across all different spectrums of our products and services. So we're quite stoked about that and what's to come. Okay, we got that, and then the next one is the Mac OS. The Mac OS, certainly this has been a populated or not populated, but or a popular project that we've had going on for the last few months. We're very excited about this, but this is it's a big project. I've had 2 developers on this working on it for months, and we're just not going to rush this out, much like the API Android product, until it is pretty much bulletproof, because we're going to be releasing something that the market has demanded for a long, long time. That is the finally local access to the Mac OS, having local access, not so much ACT, but their ACT data on it without having, we all know that if you're on a Mac and you're using Safari, great, you can consume data, but you can't really do much with it. There's no ACT or Office integrations, so there's no exporting to Excel, there's no Outlook integration, there's no mail merge or anything like that. We're looking to be building in all of those features, okay? And even next year, in April, when Nexus is scheduled to be released, we don't think that it's going to touch the local features of what we're going to be offering on that. So expect that out later October. We were hoping for September, but again, we're just not rushing it. I've included a link here, and as I said, afterwards, you guys are going to get not only the video link, but you're also going to get a collection of all the links referenced in this, okay? And then one of the last items on the roadmap is Web Planner. Web Planner is something that we actually, because we acquired the technology from Experience in Software, a company based out in Berkeley, California. We acquired both Web Planner and Project Kickstart from them. We kind of imagined that it would be competing on more of a, I guess, across all project management requirements. So it wouldn't be specifically focused on its integration. The reality is that, in order to compete with, some of the bigger players out there, it's going to require more commitment than honestly we're either qualified or interested in committing to. So what we're looking at is really kind of focusing on what our our niche core competencies are, which is the integration with ACT. So what we're looking at is allowing people to build projects that are linked to the contacts and users. So let's say, for instance, because sharing calendars is very tricky because project management tends to use date ranges, from this date to this date in a very uncalendar-like way, whereas ACT is very, very specific. We want to do something from this time to this time, normally within the same calendar day. So, exporting and importing the calendars really wasn't that elegant when you're sharing information between a PM product and a CRM product. So what we thought was like, what would be meaningful? And what we figured out is that, let's say you're in your project management tool and you clear an activity. Wouldn't it be nice if the history of that task got reflected in ACT? So, it would automatically generate a history of that completed task associated with that contact completed by that user. So that's the level of integration that we're looking to complete. We're going to expand on that, but really we're going to be focusing on delivering that integration through not only the API, but also the SDK, so people can be working with local and hosted databases, okay? And don't be surprised if we end up using some of our own API technology, but right now that we expect to have this done long before we're done our API, okay? So I'm going to pause now and see if there's any questions on the product front.
There is one question that you haven't answered yet. If a pro user has your API, would that allow them to use AMA?
No, at all. The AMA is specifically working with their API, and we're not looking to compete with this. We're just not looking to be hamstrung by it either. Okay, there's just too many production limits, and there's week after week after week, if you're down on bended knee saying, please, 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 can you build this feature? And all of your production is kind of on hold until then, it becomes a problem. Okay.
All right, that's the only question there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I see we've got this, which we've already covered. Okay, so we have marketing updates. Okay, so marketing updates, this is a big focus, and we've thought over the summer, really how are we going to be moving forward with our the promotion of our products, not only direct to customer, but also through our resellers, because we want to make sure that you guys have the easiest opportunity to make money with as little effort as possible. So, in June, I did a webinar on the affiliate program, and I'm just going to quickly go back to here. If you are not familiar with the affiliate program, please go to About Us, Resellers and Partners, and click on Affiliate Programs. Okay, first thing you'll notice, okay, certainly go through all the written material, but here is the presentation I did in June, okay, the video recording of that, so certainly go through that. But we invested heavily in providing a custom-made, reliable affiliate tracking program that allows us to introduce other co-promotions and sales enablement services that allow you guys to more easily promote our product, okay? So back to this. Okay, so the first thing that we're doing is, and this started with last month, is that each month we'll have a product of the month, and that will involve a number of things, not the least of which is a 25% discount on the product. If it's a subscription product, it's going to be 25% off the first year, but for reasons I'll explain later, on-time renewals will also get 10% off when they renew, okay, when they renew online. Qualified resellers will get access to the marketing assets like AMA templates, margins on top of discounts. So just to kind of explain how that looks, okay, is that, and I'm working with Billy right now, and we're coordination with Chad and Andy, and what we're looking is setting up an agency relationship with our resellers so that we can deliver AMA templates to you. Okay, so that all you have to do is do a simple amount of modification, and you'll be able to send them out as if they're all under your own branding. Okay, so let me just quickly go through here. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you what that looks like. And let's get started. Okay, so we'll be sending you a template. Okay, on here, make sure you've got your reseller link. And this we're using one of our resellers, CoreLogix. Okay, so we specify here, put your logo here. Now, the nice thing is if you actually know the HTML link, okay, or the URL for the graphic, you can import it directly from the web. Okay, there's CoreLogix, and now it becomes one of their branded emails, okay? And obviously we'll make sure that we've got, you guys can update this, but we'll probably remove some of the social media icons. But otherwise, this should be ready to transmit. There's going to be no keystroke branding on this whatsoever. Okay, and you guys can go through and go to each one of them and make sure that all of them reflect your affiliate link, okay, across over here. Okay, and that's it. Goes out and you're done. Okay, now I know if I don't close this, it's going to start playing. Okay, now as a further resource for the resellers, we also have published all kinds of media kits. So you can see here, ftp.keystroke.ca/media kits. You can go in this month, okay, and download the media kit here. You can see it's fairly hefty, and you're going to get all kinds of tiles and product tiles and different images of the product, as well as some actual screenshots of the features. So that allows you to better add it to your website, to your brochures, whichever, making it easier for you to sell. Okay, but we are, as I said, providing the marketing enablement features of the templates. So look forward to that. Okay. Now, let me go here. Okay, so we got the affiliate system and then the media kits. Okay, I'm going to pause because that's kind of like the enablement co-promotions feature. Vic, I'm going to pause. Is there any questions on that?
No questions.
Okay, perfect. The next one is resale marketing. So what do I mean by that? I mean, that is where you guys are reselling our services. We don't expect that most of the ACCs out there that are technicians at heart are going to have the ability to provide kind of the graphic designs, the templates, whichever. So, we're going to try to work with you so that you can deliver those services anyway, but on a resale level, okay? So just to kind of show you what that looks like, just going to flip back over here. Okay, and we're going to go back over here. We're going to go to services, we're going to go AMA, and then we're going to go to AMA services. Okay, so you can see all the write-up here. Obviously, with Billy on our team, we're mass certified as well. There's only 5 people, I believe. But where the real distinction comes in is our ability to make templates that really are graphically powerful and eye-catching. Okay, so here's some that we've done in the past. Okay, all of which are involving custom designs, not stock photos or anything like that. And we're able to really deliver our email marketing with a punch. Okay, so here's some of the old promos with Act Pro that I'm sure we all recognize: Handheld Contact, more Act Pro. Okay, but really the point of this is to kind of show you the graphic capability of this. And so imagine being able to offer that kind of template design, template subscription services, okay, because down here, we actually have subscription services where you can have a monthly newsletter for $95 that we design, okay? And then you've got the biweekly newsletter, 90-minute templates, the one-offs, and then a more complex 180-minute templates, okay? Or even be able to work on complex AMA campaigns, which obviously Billy being mass certified and coming over with one of the broadest bases of knowledge with AMA is capable of assisting with. Okay. However, we don't expect you guys to be able to provide that service and say, here, just talk to my customers and please don't poach them. We understand that everyone is going to be concerned about introducing us to their customers. So what we've done, and we'll be distributing that as well, is we've prepared a non-compete contract. Okay, so that anyone that you introduce us to for our services or our products, we will be contractually prohibited, okay, from taking them on as a customer, even if they insist on switching their ROR over to us. We will be contractually prohibited from doing so without your permission. Now, the reason I say without your permission is that sometimes in cases where a relationship with a customer has kind of run its course and you're going to lose it anyway, you may want to turn it over to us and get a commission on that, so that you get an ongoing subscription revenue from that account without losing the account entirely. Okay, you may lose the ROR, but you're not losing the revenue, which I think most people will say that that's all that really matters. Okay, so that's the only kind of loophole that we're giving, but we're leaving in the contract, but that's to your benefit, and that would be have to be something that you guys select. But generally, what you're doing is you're taking the largest reseller in the world out of the hopper. You're no longer going to compete with us, okay? Because we value the reseller relationship, and we want to help you guys expand our services, and obviously help our business in terms of our wholesale services that we're delivering. And this, we think, is the only way that we can do it to protect both of our interests. Okay, so look for that, but and there's more on that to come on some of the benefits of that non-compete contract. Okay, now one of the things that very few people know about, okay, let me just kind of go through here, is that we have a company. I'm just going to type it in here. Okay, an actual website development company. So imagine if you are working with a customer and you discover through the course of kind of vetting them or working with them that their website is really old. There's not much that you can do right now as a service provider that can, monetize that, that discovery. Okay, so, what we have done is Keystroke Quality Designs was actually the original company that I started back in 1994. So what we've done is we've kind of used that as a model to name our company KQD, for Keystroke Quality Designs, and really kind of play on the and leverage the design capability of it. And we have lots of services that we can provide that we don't believe anyone else in the community can. Okay, and if you're able to enable our services and expand the range of services you can offer your customers, you can really expand much more into a one-stop solution provider, okay, which I know is in everyone's interest. Because the moment that people go else for other things, there's always a risk that some of your core business could follow with that. So we provide web design, web development, graphic design, search engine optimization, SEM. We've actually provided SEO and SEM for years. Design and print services, so business cards, brochures, things like that, and even web hosting. Okay, and if you go to our website, you're going to notice that we've got like features, custom-made features throughout our website that we've developed from scratch. Even the little dripping effect here, that was a custom-made, and it goes down and splashes here. And you'll also notice that this particular height auto adjusts to whatever screen you're working with, so that this is the top and the bottom of the screen pretty much no matter what. Okay, you go down here, you're going to see all of our different custom utilities, which includes proration calculators, add-on renewal tools, I'll get to that later, add-on license updaters, our VIP customer portal, which we touched upon a little bit, our annual support plans, but even developing little gifts like this that are custom made. Okay, and here's another feature that we developed. This little slideshow is pulling from our featured products in our shopping cart. Okay, so we just add in this little module, and whatever we select as that month's featured products are going to be displayed in this kind of contained slideshow. Okay, so all of these things are things that we built, custom for our website, custom modules that work right now in Joomla, but we can develop similar things for WordPress as well. Okay, so all kinds of things, even things that we've added to, like even if you go to About Us. Okay, we just started the Employee of the Month. Okay, and you scroll down. Okay, and let's say I wanted to make Lubs Employee of the Month. Automatically we capture this and paste this in. And now we've got a little profile card that's specifically dedicated to Lubs. Now, why have we done this? Is because sharing it on social media works perfectly when you capture it like a card like this. And we started promoting Austin, our CTO, as this month's first Employee of the Month. But having this kind of profile card really shares well on LinkedIn, shares well on Facebook and other mediums. Okay, so these are things that we develop custom for our own internal purposes. Okay, now what we also did is one of our KPPs asked us to update her website. And we created brendaralston.com. Okay, and I'm going to ask you guys to kind of go through all of it, all the different pages, but this covered everything that she wanted. Really put a much more professional polish on her online branding, and we were able to incorporate all the material that she gave us and expand on the kind of messaging that she had previously on her website. And she remarked she loved working with Carlos, who is our marketing director, and really provided excellent service, and she couldn't say enough about the experience. Now, here's the punchline though. This website costs less than $1,000, her wholesale price. Okay, so any of our KPPs that are thinking about rebranding, going into, because there's so many changes going on, and we'll touch on this later, but so many changes going on with the with ACT and service expansion, things like that, you're really going to want to have to be competitive the best possible first impression online. Okay, now if you want to see what we've got here in terms of, go to our work. You can just go to kqd.ca portfolio, and you can see the different websites here as samples of this. Now, all of this, okay, you can kind of use when you're talking about this to your customers, you can use these as past samples, and obviously there's no ACT reference on any of this, so this becomes even a little bit more white labeled than it would be if it was all under kind of a menu tree within Keystroke, okay? So please take a moment to kind of go through this after the webinar, just familiarize yourself with some of the websites. We're pretty pleased with the websites that we've done over the last couple of years. And here's the best part. This really does not require much effort on your part. You just have to identify an opportunity, a need where someone would be open to it. It can even be part of website integration, where you're noticing we had a website where we took on this summer, and we built a shopping cart where the guy had some like 10-year-old shopping cart pieces from his previous website, and we noticed that, holy cow, like we can really overhaul this if we upgrade the back end, upgrade his version of Joomla. And what that allowed us to do is really kind of expand on what services we were originally thinking of working with him on, because he wasn't really looking at the shopping cart at first, but once we kind of said, okay, when you bring this forward to this current version, we can introduce this technology, that technology. So the same kind of opportunity can arise with you guys, where just one little opportunity could end up being that little thin edge of the wedge, which opens up all kinds of additional revenue and service opportunities. So definitely, please keep us in mind with that. And once that's done, you don't have to worry about quoting. You don't have to worry about talking the talk. You just have to set us up. We have the non-compete in place. We talk to them about that. We deliver. You guys get commissioned, simple as money, and you guys become, as I said before, that one-stop shop. Okay. Just kind of quickly discuss who we've got on our team. gonna go back here, go to, hold on here, work here. Okay, about us. Okay, so on the team here, we have Carlos is here, Carlos Policelli. He is our graphic designer, marketing manager, handles most of the websites. Okay, and then scrolling down, we have Ione here. She handles graphic designs and SEO. Okay, up here you're going to notice Fajar. Fajar is kind of our secret weapon. This guy can custom develop just about any kind of web module you imagine. So a lot of the stuff that you've seen on the website that's really programmatic, he has developed for us. We also have Farah here. She's always one of my favorites. She's always puts a smile on my face. Farah's in charge of social media. And then we have Ouija here that handles a lot of all of our French translation, okay? Because as you can tell on our website, pretty much everything that's in English is also in French, okay? So that kind of covers what I wanted to talk about in terms of our marketing resale services, where you guys can go out and expand your services, and just in the general course of servicing your customers, take advantage of opportunities that may present themselves if you see that they have a website that needs work. Okay, so I'm going to
quick question there, Ken.
Actually, I'm wrapped up on this section, so yes, bring them up.
Good. How does KQD web design service work? Would it be white labeled through us, or is it commission kickback kind of thing?
It can actually be either one, but we recommend commission kickback. Okay, just otherwise, you know, it's quite frankly, it's less work for you. Okay, now if you've got a customer whose relationship you're really sensitive about, then you tell us. We will provide the quote, and you pass it through to them. But we find that experience, I mean, everyone understands subcontractors. This is not, some kind of new business relationship. Everyone understands subcontractors. No one expects everyone to have a team of professionals under, every single kind of service category. So, we recommend just introducing your prospect to us, and then us, and we can certainly copy you on all the communication. Okay, that's certainly easy enough so that you're in the loop. And if you feel there's any need to interject yourself in terms of some of the service deliveries that you're offering, by all means. But generally, we prefer that. It's less of a lumpy experience.
All right, one more question. Do we need an NDA with you for things like a database repair services?
NDAs are something that we provide almost every day, so that's fine. Most times that we're dealing with customers, other people's customers will provide an NDA. But the non-compete, I think once you read that, you may find that covers most of your security concerns. If not, it takes me 5 seconds to generate an NDA.
Okay, one more question. Will the Mac version of HHC talk to AMA?
No, and that's both not by accident, and I'm not even sure possible. Okay, the first thing, the not by accident part. You have to understand that we're not dealing with the old Swift page anymore. They have, a much higher sensitivity in terms of IP overlap than maybe the previous management team did. So we're not going to develop anything that can be construed as Act for Mac. Okay, this is a handheld contact product. So we're talking about accessing the data, okay, and managing the data, but not trying to access services that are proprietary to Act. So that is not something that even if it were technically capable of, is of any interest to us.
All right, that's it for the questions in this section, Ken.
Okay, perfect. Okay, the next thing I expect to probably generate the most discussion. Okay, we've talked about about reselling the services and the non-competes. The reality is, and I'm just going to pull up the PowerPoint here. Okay, we covered that. Support. So guys, if you haven't already figured out, change is coming. Okay, on October 1st, SwiftPage will cease the practice of providing remote technical assistance under subscription support. Many ACCs at first glance looked at this and said, fantastic, great, it removes some competition with our own services. But when you drill down a little bit, you realize it's a little bit more complicated than that. First of all, most ACCs are not equipped to offer any level of warranty support, digital or otherwise. So digital, email, even complimentary phone support. They're literally not equipped from a resource standpoint. And that will eventually, understand that will eventually be required, if not in this next iteration of the ACC agreement, in subsequent ones, okay? That's the first point. The second point is most ACCs are not equipped to even offer a paid subscription support, based on their resources to for either selling or delivering them. So let's imagine that we said, okay, we obviously have Orange Care. Let's say that you as an ACC, working by yourself or with one other person, you say, I want to come up with my version of ultimate support, and I'm going to offer that to my customers. Well, that's all fine and good. You know the model. It's $10 per user, okay, per month, $120 per year. But think about how the commercial obstacles that would involve with that. So just imagine that you're an ACC and you have 1,000 UUMs, okay, which automatically puts you in the upper tier, in the minority, okay? But just imagine you've got 1,000 UUMs and you convert 50% of them over to your own, version of ultimate support, okay? First of all, not only is that a ridiculously unrealistic high conversion rate, but you would need to hire another ACC in advance of those conversions to even ramp up the sales of such a service, okay? And even if you did that, if you're able to convert 500 accounts, which is a huge undertaking and quite a high goal, that would still represent only $60,000 per year. So it's not like, there's suddenly a windfall. So if you hired someone else, there's a very good chance that until you doubled that, get like 100% of your team converted before it was actually a moneymaker for you, okay? And think about, unlike projects and customization support, that you do and the customer actually moves their business forward. Break fix, as we all know, is a thankless grudge spend, okay? That actually typically hurts retention. It doesn't help. So most customers just expect the product to work. How many times have we heard that? I just expect it to work. I paid this money, it should just work. And if it doesn't, you guys should be on the hook. You made money with the software. That's all fine and good, but you can't provide that kind of support for free, okay? Be able to eat, be able to sell, be able to run any kind of accounting or administration or marketing or anything, okay? The sales, renewals, and collections of these support plans would likely take 1 or 2 full-time people just to ramp it up successfully. And keep in mind, successful, okay, the bar for success is actually covering your cost, okay, which is just to say break even. And even if you're able to do that, the initial upfront investment of support desk software, customization to your database, and even all the documentation required, okay, to set this up would be considerable and truthfully insurmountable for most. So in short, this is not a realistic goal for the 1 or 2 man teams who already have to manage sales, accounting, marketing support, and other money-making projects. So if you're relying on SwiftPage to be your backup, how long do you think it will be before they limit the support that they're providing to accounts already paying, okay, ultimate, okay, or take over all level 1 and level 2 support for your accounts and adjust your commission accordingly? So let me just rephrase that. So I saw one of the ACCs on Act Nation say, well, I sure as heck hope that we still get our support, okay? Well, let's play that out. Imagine if you're calling up on behalf of XYZ. Now, SwiftPage, their attitude is they've already made, less money on your account, okay, on the account that you sold because it's gone through a reseller. So now they're being asked to provide ultimate support that they're getting no revenue for. How long do you think it will be before you have to identify an ultimate support plan in place for the customer on whose behalf you're calling? And let's not pretend that this is some kind of outlandish, fear-mongering. This was already in place only a couple of years ago. Remember, we had to provide the name of the customer we were calling on behalf of. Well, things have changed. Remember, a lot of us used to be escalated to, level 3 support in Chennai, India. Well, if you guys haven't read the news, SwiftPage is quickly phasing out Chennai. So a lot of those escalation resources that you guys are used to are fading away. They're being cut, okay, in place of services that they want to build direct for. Okay, that's the first part of it. Second part of it is if you turn around and ask SwiftPage to take care of all your accounts, okay, do not expect them to forever pay you the same commission. So let's say you're making 30% and you say, you know what, I'm a one-man guy, I can't take care of all the support. You do it, you take care of the warranty support, you take care of, the level 2 support, whichever. Okay, you even you can bill direct for that. Keep in mind that the expectation is that if they're giving away a lot of the revenue, they want to have less overhead, okay? And it's fairly foreseeable, and I'm not going to pretend I've got some inside skinny, it's just standard commerce. It's fairly foreseeable that they will look to claw back reseller commissions for ones that they're making less money on, but are being asked to support, okay? Even on a tier 1 warranty level. So keep that in mind. So why am I bringing all of this up? Well, because we think it's time to start considering an alternative, okay? And that alternative, instead of trying to build up all of this infrastructure, try to, build up, all of these things that, much like we were talking about the template design services, the web design services, and all of that, we're going to propose to our resellers that sign a non-compete contract that you guys look at reselling our Orange Care for $10 a month, okay? $10 a month, billed annually, okay? However, you've got many different advantages that don't exist, because right now with SwiftPage, the only revenue opportunity that you've got is based on your subscription base. With us, you get the subscription base, but you can also sell support plans to your off-plan customers, okay? People that have perped out, and people that are on pro plans as well, okay? That have bought pro software. The only condition is, because you guys aren't making any other revenue on these guys, so you're not making any subscription revenue or hosting revenue or anything like that. The only thing that we've put in and that we would enforce on our resellers is that if you're selling Orange Care to a pro or off-plan Act Premium user, that you would the minimum price would be 4 users. So their step-in price, regardless of whether or not they have 1 to 4 users, their step-in price is going to be for 4 seats of Orange Care. But otherwise, they're not going to get anything like it. So a lot of them that are in the 2 or 3 are going to say, yeah, whatever. Okay, I like that not all you can eat, but I like that fixed cost that they can have. Now, what is in it for you? Okay, obviously we expect everyone to be self-serving. You get to keep $20 of that 120. Okay, so and for VIP sales, okay, which are more about projects, you get to have 20% of the VIP sales. Okay, now without any time or money investment, your customers get great Act support, okay, available for break fix. They get setup assistance, so you can just sell the software and we will install it for them. And this is for each and every year. That's for their new purchases or their upgrades, and we'll be able to support all the add-ons that we're helping you guys sell. So we'll provide you marketing collateral for things like the notifier and such, and then once they buy, we'll be able to even set it up for them, okay? By reselling Orange Care, you immediately eliminate your biggest competitor, because you'll sign, as I said, a non-compete contract with all of our Orange Care resellers will sign a non-compete contract with us. Your subscribers will have a better experience as they get 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time support, chat support, setup assistance, knowledge base, everything, okay, and remote assistance. VIP plans include level 1, level 2, and level 3 support from everything, including break fix, the custom development. Okay, so custom development for Windows and web apps for Diamond VIP plans. All our services are available at wholesale prices to our resellers, and we have 11 full-time staff offering support in 3 languages with 5 developers. I'm not talking about staff period. I'm talking about 11 full-time support staff offering these services in 3 separate languages, and then an additional 5 developers that are available for projects. Okay, so that covers that, and then I guess it's 3:59. So next slide is any questions?
Yeah, I have one question here. Can Keystroke offer any general IT services? Example, Outlook, Exchange, OS, hardware, that type of thing.
Well, let's just say it's if we run across it, we can sometimes overcome it. Here's the thing, I don't like to touch networks. I certainly am not going to get back into hardware. I started my career in hardware, not going back to that. But I don't like offering remote networking service, because if anything goes wrong and the comm link is cut, then that's pretty much the end of our ability to service that account, okay? And then suddenly we need someone else to restore the connection in order for us to continue delivering network service. So we actually normally ask the customers to leverage local service providers for that.
All right, thank you, Kent. That's it for the questions.
Okay, I'm going to ask all of you guys to go through. I'm just going to give it like one quick demo of what it would look like for one of your support customers to renew their. So let's say we go to Act Services, we go to Customer Tools, and we go to Support Plan Renewals. Okay.
Ken, before you do that, can I just make one comment? For those of you that are interested in this, I do have the agreements, the licensing agreements ready. So if you are interested, please send me an email or give me a call, and I will gladly send you out a copy of that.
Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up with this. I'm just running a minute over here. So let's say they want to renew their plan. Now, all the renewal notices include the contract key. Okay, so in this case, you just enter in the contract key. You go to Act Services, Customer Tools, and then go down to the Support Plan, renew your support plan, and then you click on Validate. Okay, now in this case, you've got the drop down here, but I know it's an Orange Care plan before I did this, and it just takes a couple of moments to actually access the key. Okay, so here is the contract. So it's identified as Orange Care. It's support contract multi-users, 4 total users. Here's the renewal, okay? And you can see it's automatically discounted 10% because it's early, okay? 56 days before renewal. So when you click on Renew Subscription, it automatically takes you to the checkout, and you renew it, and it will automatically update the contract within our database, okay? And it's that easy. That's why we're gonna kind of get away from sending out renewal invoices for subscriptions, things like the admin pack, tables, all of that. We're gonna use as many of the renewal reminders so people can renew both their software and their support contracts online and save. Because if we're gonna incentivize them by discounting at 10%, we think it's gonna produce the right behavior. And that's it. Any other questions, Vic?
No, no other questions.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. We did run a couple of minutes over, but I hope you appreciate we had a lot to cover. As I said, we're going to send out the recording of this. We're going to send out the script, including all the links for you guys to reference. I hope that you guys found this of value. I hope none of it scared you or anything, but it kind of gets the wheels turning in terms of some of the future revenue opportunities that you've got, that allows you guys to really to be a gateway for your customers for a much wider range of services and products. Okay, thanks again for sharing your time with us, and I hope you guys found this of value.